And then if you want to get the contact, how do you do it? Pound the pavement. Search Christian festivals. Search reggae festivals online. Look at the Reggae Festival Guide. They have a lot of the festivals there. Go through things through your church. Dominic Bally is in a Calvary Chapel network, and so he could live almost entirely off just doing shows in the Calvary Chapel network. Find all the sister churches within your church. Find the biggest church within your church's network. Play there and ask the head pastor to write a recommendation letter for you, and use that in your booking pack. Which brings me to my next thing. How are you, if you're not making the calls, you're just sending them an email, are you giving them any sort of links? Are you giving them music? What are you doing?
I mainly just give them links to our MySpace page or our Facebook so they could check out our music online.
All right. Now, just keep in mind that some people need to read. Some people are just visual. And so for those people, you need to have a really good bio worked up. You should have your bio rewritten and make it short and sweet and just consolidate all the things that you've done and who you are and what they're going to get out of it. Now, some people want to just hear. They're auditory. My wife, she's very visual, but some people are just all auditory. And so for those people, send them a few MP3s. And don't just put them up on the site, but send them a few MP3s. And then a lot of people need to actually see the show. So this is what you do. For your next, look at your next month and find the most high-profile show that you have, and tell your band, okay, this is the best song that we're going to do on this night. You may even have to do it twice that night, but have people film it, even just with a camera like this, and give the best performance you've ever done. Put it up on YouTube. Tell every one of your friends, all your fans, to go and look at it. Get as many hits on YouTube as possible, and then include that in your promo pack. Just a link to it. So you have just a little digital one. Put the stuff in a folder, some songs, bio, and a link to that on YouTube, and then tell people to go there. And that's what we do. When we do our tours, we put up a little promo video, maybe 30 seconds or so, or a few minutes. But it shows us doing shows in front of thousands of people, sometimes 80,000 people. You want something that's flattering. And another thing you can do if you're trying to get more money, ask the promoter 2 questions. The first one is kind of a trick question. What's the least you've ever paid somebody? Chances are they're going to say 0, right? Or a love offering. Ask them, okay, what's the most somebody's gotten for a love offering? What's the least amount? And expect to get the least. But, so, okay, what's the least you've ever paid somebody? They say 0. Nil. Okay, what's the most you've ever paid somebody? Oh man, now I have to answer that. They're going to say, well, I brought in so on and so forth and I paid them this amount. Okay, well now you have a good average, somewhere in between. Find out who else they've brought out. If they've brought out other artists of your stature, if you're Nicholas and you're trying to get a gig and you know how much they paid Prodigal, that may help if you're trying to negotiate. But you definitely don't want to let money keep you from doing the gospel and from playing these shows. And another thing you can do is negotiate an honorarium and right afterwards say, now there is some costs to get us out there. So the honorarium is, let's say you're trying to get $1,000 as an artist. The honorarium is $600, but the travel expenses, it's going to cost $400 to rent a van, to cover the gas and everything, and the tolls or whatever to get out there. So they may say no to $1,000, but they may say yes to $600, and they say, well, of course we got to pay for your travel out. So that's a crucial thing. And how else to get these shows? Look on artists' websites. Find other artists that are touring. Chicken hawk some of their dates. See if you can't. Don't steal their dates from them, but see where these artists are playing and see if you can open up for them. See if you can play if we're playing a festival this year. See if you can play that festival next year. Which brings me to one of my last points. Another thing that is absolutely crucial for you to do is if you book a show this year, call them, or even at the show, try and get them to book you again for next year. We just booked 3 shows today with Christafari. There were 3 shows we did last year and the year before and the year before. So if you did 30 shows this year and you get 20 more, that means next year you could also have 50 and then build that and build that. And we've been doing it for many years, so obviously it's a little easier for us, but another crucial thing is to go and repeat and repeat and repeat. Creed did this. They picked their top 9 markets and they went back 3 times a year for years. And they started off playing in small little bars and then clubs and then auditoriums and all the way up to coliseums, and they became huge because they kept coming back and building the momentum. So don't spend all your emphasis on playing in a little desert town in the middle of nowhere where there's 3 people coming up, showing. Focus on your top key markets. If you're doing urban music, it may be New York or it may be Florida. If you're Native American, it may be a Navajo reservation, but focus on your key markets. So did that help at all, dude?
Helped a lot.
Okay, now, the hardest thing in all this is actually doing it. The absolute hardest thing is just saying, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do this. But if you don't do it, nobody else will.